You thought you knew Walnut Grove. You believed in the wholesome, idyllic world of Little House on the Prairie. But what if the sun-drenched fields and heartwarming narratives hid a darker, more complex reality, filled with shocking scandals and untold stories that were never meant for public consumption? What secrets were truly lurking off-camera, and how did they forever change the lives of its beloved cast?
I didn't know Mrs. Wilson had store-bought tea.
Well, how could you tell? She never smiles.
For generations, Little House on the Prairie has been synonymous with wholesome family values and the idyllic simplicity of 19th century pioneer life. Millions tuned in, captivated by the Ingalls family's struggles and triumphs, believing they were witnessing a pure, authentic slice of American history. But what if the sun-drenched fields and heartwarming narratives hid a darker, more complex reality, filled with shocking scandals and untold stories that were never meant for public consumption? Get ready to peel back the layers of nostalgia and discover the untold stories that will forever change how you see Walnut Grove. The meticulous crafting of a historical world on screen is a monumental task, and even the most beloved productions can harbor hidden cracks. Little House on the Prairie, despite its immersive portrayal of 19th century life, was not immune to such slip-ups. Over the years, eagle-eyed viewers and dedicated fans have uncovered a surprising number of anachronisms and production mishaps that inadvertently pulled back the curtain on the show's 1970s origins. One of the most jarring examples of modern-day intrusion occurred in Season 8, Episode 5, titled "Laura Travels to Arizona to Attend a Literary Seminar." In a pivotal scene where a professor propositions Laura, a modern Pepsi can is clearly visible beneath one of the seats. Later in the same episode, as Mortimer and Laura converse on a building's stairs, a group of people in the background are seen wearing modern shorts and t-shirts. One person even runs up, looks directly towards the filming area, and then quickly retreats. These moments serve as stark reminders that the illusion of the 1880s was occasionally pierced by the realities of a 1970s film set. Beyond visual gaffes, the show also took liberties with historical accuracy in more subtle ways. For instance, the character Harriet Oleson was once depicted serving a Waldorf salad, a dish named after the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, which had not yet been built during the show's historical timeline. Similarly, a townsperson once referenced a train line that historically would not have reached that region for another 2 decades, highlighting a casual disregard for strict chronological accuracy in favor of narrative convenience. The challenges of early television production also led to visible crew members and set mishaps. In the pilot episode, a scene depicting the Ingalls family traveling in their wagon reveals an astonishing detail. A man's hand, complete with a wristwatch, can be seen shaking the wagon seat to simulate movement, shattering the illusion of a journey across the prairie. Another instance of visible production trickery occurred in the Black Jake episode, where an attempted building explosion clearly shows a fishing line or string used to pull a character back, exposing the rudimentary special effects of the era. Continuity errors were also common, a natural consequence of filming scenes over multiple days. Allison Arngrim, who played Nellie Olson, recalled a scene where Laura's dress was only partially muddy in one shot, but inexplicably covered head to toe in the next, a clear sign of disjointed filming. Furthermore, budget constraints and practicalities led to extensive reuse of sets and props. The same train shots, wagons, and even Doc Baker's buggy were frequently recycled throughout the series, often with different background extras, creating a somewhat repetitive visual landscape. Perhaps most notably, several buildings in Walnut Grove, including Hanson's house, the scary old guy's house, the rich widow's house, and even the blind school were all the same set, repurposed repeatedly. This became particularly apparent when, after the blind school supposedly burned down, the very same house miraculously reappeared as Mr. Hanson's old residence. These numerous production errors, from a misplaced Pepsi can to visible crew members, might seem like significant flaws. Yet, for a dedicated segment of the audience, these imperfections actually enhance their connection to the show. Some viewers have expressed that such details make them like the show more. This suggests that these mistakes inadvertently humanize the production, making it feel more authentic and less like a slick, manufactured product. It transforms what might traditionally be seen as failures into endearing quirks, fostering a deeper, more relatable bond with the creative process. This phenomenon also underscores a fascinating shift in audience engagement. Many of these details went largely unnoticed in the original airings due to the low picture resolution of analog televisions. However, in the digital age, with high-definition reruns and the proliferation of internet forums, fans now meticulously document these visual hiccups with forensic precision. This transformation from passive consumption to active collaborative analysis highlights how technology has reshaped viewer interaction, turning once hidden production quirks into shared cultural touchstones and driving renewed interest in older content. The contrast between the show's intended historical illusion and the practical realities of its production, often limited by budget and time, becomes a compelling narrative in itself. But these on-screen blunders were just the beginning. The cameras also captured moments of unscripted chaos and genuine human reactions that were never meant to be seen. Even in the most dramatic and heartfelt scenes of Little House on the Prairie, the human element of acting occasionally broke through the carefully constructed script. These unscripted moments, whether intentional or accidental, added an unexpected layer of authenticity and charm, revealing the real people behind the beloved characters. One such instance occurred in the episode Back to School Part 2. As Laura Ingalls, played by Melissa Gilbert, was meant to storm off in a fit of scripted rage, eagle-eyed viewers caught a fleeting, almost imperceptible smirk on her face just before the camera cut away. This brief break in character provided a rare glimpse into the challenge of maintaining composure during emotionally charged scenes, humanizing the actress behind the role. Similarly, amidst the staged emotional moments, Caroline Ingalls, portrayed by Karen Grasley, once let out a laugh that was genuinely unscripted. This spontaneous burst of joy transcended the performance, adding an authentic, heartwarming touch that resonated with viewers. Perhaps the most famous unscripted moments involved the youngest Ingalls' daughter, Carrie, played by twins Lindsay and Sydney Greenbush. Carrie became notoriously known for her unscripted tumbles during chase scenes. One particularly memorable moment saw her go flying on the ground, a fall that was reportedly for real and not scripted. These unexpected spills became a running gag among fans, transforming a potential mishap into a beloved, endearing blooper that added an element of unpredictable chaos to the otherwise earnest narrative. These instances where actors momentarily stepped out of character or experienced genuine, unscripted reactions are more than just production quirks. They actually contribute to the show's enduring appeal by adding a layer of human authenticity. The fleeting smirk from Laura or Carrie's genuine tumbles reveal the real individuals behind the roles, making the characters and their portrayers more relatable and endearing to viewers. This blurs the line between scripted performance and genuine human reaction, often enhancing rather than detracting from the viewer's experience. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the most memorable moments are those that were never planned. The prevalence of these documented breaks in character also highlights the profound impact of fan communities and digital platforms. Many of these subtle moments went unnoticed in the original airings. However, with the advent of the internet and dedicated fan forums, these once hidden details are now documented with forensic precision. This shift demonstrates how passive viewership has evolved into active collaborative analysis, transforming minor production quirks into shared cultural touchstones that continue to fuel discussions and renewed interest in the series. Yet even these unscripted moments pale in comparison to the darker, more scandalous realities that unfolded behind the scenes, far from the wholesome image projected on screen.
Several key cast members reportedly grappled with substance issues. Charlotte Stewart, who played Miss Beadle, was known to use cocaine during filming days. Karen Grassel, the beloved Ma Ingalls, was frequently hungover on set. Even Michael Landon, the patriarch Charles Ingalls, and the show's driving force, reportedly smelled of liquor and was identified as an alcoholic, a struggle shared by Victor French, Mr. Edwards, and Melissa Gilbert, Laura, in her later years on the show. Karen Grassel herself openly discussed the on-set culture, admitting that she and Michael Landon frequently smoked cigarettes on set, even in front of the child actors. This was considered very normal in the 1970s, a stark contrast to today's standards where such behavior would be deemed scandalous. The set environment, particularly after the child actors left for the day, also included smoking and drinking beer, and a general indulgence in junk food at craft services. Alcohol was a common feature at wrap parties and Christmas celebrations, further reflecting the relaxed standards of the era. Beyond substance use, personal conflicts and relationships also simmered beneath the surface. Despite their on-screen sisterly bond, Melissa Gilbert and Melissa Sue Anderson, who played Laura and Mary Ingalls respectively, reportedly disliked each other from the very first day of filming, creating palpable tension off-camera. Michael Landon, while revered by many, was also accused of making sexist jokes about women and treating Karen Grassel horribly, adding a layer of professional friction to their on-screen chemistry. Even personal romantic entanglements made headlines. Shannon Doherty, who joined the cast as Jenny Wilder, was rumored to have had an affair with Melissa Gilbert's husband, Beau Brinkman, following Gilbert's breakup with Rob Lowe. This personal drama spilled over into the lives of the cast members, adding another layer of complexity to their relationships. The physical demands of filming in Simi Valley, California, with temperatures often soaring into the triple digits, presented unique challenges, particularly for the young actors. Young actresses like Allison Arngrim and Nellie Olson, and an assistant director reportedly passed out from the heat while clad in heavy, layered period clothing. Allison Arngrim also endured a particularly painful experience with Nellie's iconic curls. Initially, her own hair was curled using a torturous, oven-heated curling iron. Later, a custom wig was made, but even that caused her scalp to bleed due to the metal pins used to secure it. Despite these adult behaviors and physical discomforts, cast members like Allison Arngrim and Matthew Labrateau, Albert Ingalls, consistently affirmed that they felt extremely protected by the crew on set. This suggests a conscious and commendable effort by the production team to shield the children from the more adult aspects of the filming environment, ensuring their safety and well-being. The revelations of widespread substance use, personal conflicts, and the general 1970s set culture stand in stark contrast to the idealized, wholesome family presented on screen. This duality highlights the significant gap between the carefully curated public image of entertainment and the often messy, human realities of its creation. The show's enduring appeal might, in part, stem from its ability to offer a nostalgic escape, allowing viewers to connect with simplified virtues and heartwarming narratives without confronting the true, often grim, challenges of the past. Furthermore, the casual acceptance of smoking and drinking on set, even in front of child actors, which was very normal in the 1970s but would be scandalous in 2025, illustrates a profound generational shift in production ethics. This reflects a broader cultural evolution towards greater awareness of health, safety, and child protection, making the Little House set a fascinating historical artifact of a bygone era in television production, where standards were vastly different from those upheld today. These personal struggles and the prevailing 1970s set culture were often shaped by the powerful, sometimes controversial hand of Michael Landon himself, whose influence extended far beyond his role as Pa Ingalls. Michael Landon was far more than just the beloved Pa Ingalls. He was the undeniable driving force behind Little House on the Prairie. As its star, producer, and frequent director, he shaped its authenticity, but he was also a demanding figure whose personal quirks and controversial decisions left an indelible mark on the series and its legacy. Landon's directing style was characterized by a unique blend of control and a surprising embrace of improvisation. He famously encouraged his actors to speak from the heart, often abandoning the script in favor of emotional realism. This approach contributed significantly to the show's perceived authenticity, making dialogue feel real and clearly understood to audiences. Dean Butler, who played Almanzo Wilder, observed Landon's remarkable ability to turn that on a dime and find the humor in a moment, skillfully balancing sentimentality with good-natured laughs. This dynamic approach often surprised and deeply engaged the audience, allowing for a broader range of emotional connection. Landon's meticulous attention to his on-screen image and his commanding presence was legendary. He went prematurely gray in his 20s, even during his Bonanza days, and continued to dye his hair with Clairol medium ash brown for Little House. However, the intense California sun would cause his hair to turn an odd shade of lavender, leading to production delays until a professional hair colorist was brought in. This obsession with his appearance underscored his desire for absolute control over his on-screen persona. Furthermore, at 5 feet 9 inches tall, Landon wore 4-inch lifts in his boots to ensure he wasn't dwarfed by other actors. He would also strategically position himself on stairs, ladders, or even slight mounds of dirt to appear taller, revealing a meticulous focus on his physical dominance in every scene. Perhaps Landon's most controversial and dramatic decision came at the very end of the series. In an unprecedented move, he famously ordered the systematic destruction of nearly every building on the Walnut Grove set, with the notable exceptions of the church and the Ingalls' Little House. This wasn't merely a plot device, it was a definitive statement of control. Landon's primary motivation was to prevent the sets from being reused for any future shows or films that might not meet his exacting standards for Little House on the Prairie. It was a final, powerful act to protect his creative vision and legacy. Melissa Gilbert described the experience of filming this finale as gutting and the longest funeral I'd ever attended, emphasizing the profound emotional weight of destroying a place that had been a home for so many years. The Ingalls house, however, was intentionally spared, seen as a symbol of hope for the family and for everyone else. In a remarkable turn, actor Stan Ivar, who joined the cast in the final season as John Carter, disassembled it piece by piece and has had it in storage forever in his rural Los Angeles County home. Despite Ivar's efforts and even support from former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, attempts to donate this tangible piece of television history to cultural institutions like the Smithsonian or the Walnut Grove Museum have reportedly failed due to complex rights issues with NBC. Landon's dual nature as a director who encouraged improvisation while simultaneously exerting extreme control over his image and the ultimate fate of the sets presents a fascinating paradox. His drive for authenticity was deeply intertwined with a need for absolute creative and personal control. This suggests that for some artistic visionaries, true creative expression necessitates both freedom for actors and meticulous oversight of every detail, even down to the physical appearance of the star and the ultimate fate of the set. Furthermore, Landon's decision to destroy the sets was not just practical, it was a powerful, almost symbolic act. This implies a deep personal connection to the show and a profound desire to control its legacy, ensuring no one else could desecrate his vision. The intentional sparing of the Ingalls house further underscores this, as it represented the enduring hope of the family, a core value Landon wanted to preserve. This dramatic act speaks volumes about the emotional investment creators have in their work and the lengths they will go to protect its integrity and memory. The lingering legal battle over the physical set, decades after the show concluded, also highlights the complex and enduring nature of intellectual property laws in the entertainment industry. Even physical assets created during production can be entangled in legal disputes, preventing them from being publicly displayed or preserved, underscoring how business and legal considerations can sometimes override cultural and historical preservation efforts. Landon's meticulous control and the show's production realities often clashed with the historical accuracy it aimed to portray, leading to a romanticized version of the American frontier that diverged significantly from the harsh truths of pioneer life. While Little House on the Prairie aimed to transport viewers to the 19th century American frontier, it often presented a romanticized and sanitized version of pioneer life. The show frequently glossed over the harsh realities and historical inaccuracies that defined the true experiences of settlers like the Ingalls family, prioritizing a family-friendly narrative over strict historical fidelity. The idyllic portrayal of pioneer life in the series stood in stark contrast to the darker realities lurking off-camera that the real Ingalls family and other settlers faced. Their lives were fraught with immense hardships, devastating fires, prolonged droughts, crippling blizzards, and grasshoppers that destroyed entire crops. The novels, on which the show was based, detail severe challenges such as malaria, the blinding of Laura's sister Mary due to fever, a neighbor nearly perishing from poison gas while digging a well, encounters with rough men on the railroad, and even the threat of murder driven by the isolation of prairie life. Laura herself tragically lost a child, and her husband, Almanzo, was crippled by diphtheria. The brutal winter of 1880-81 in Minnesota, described in the books, saw so much snow that trains stopped running, supplies dwindled, and settlers nearly starved, resorting to burning hay for fuel and grinding wheat in coffee grinders to make bread. This level of grim reality was rarely, if ever, fully depicted in the television series. Geographical and environmental inaccuracies were also prevalent, a consequence of filming in California rather than the actual Midwest. The majority of trees shown on the set were California live oaks, a species native only to California that would not have survived in Minnesota. Moreover, the show's portrayal of a dry environment often contrasted sharply with the very green reality of Walnut Grove, Minnesota. The series frequently depicted Charles Ingalls building houses from scratch, implying an abundance of timber. However, prairies by definition lacked extensive forests. In reality, building materials were typically brought in by wagons and trains, and pioneer families often lived in temporary dugouts while their homes were constructed. Daily life on the prairie was often depicted with anachronistic details. The seemingly wholesome family dinners, often announced as rabbit or squirrel stew, were in fact canned Dinty Moore beef stew. Similarly, Laura's drumsticks in her school lunch pail were actually Kentucky Fried Chicken. Other modern amenities and appearances that subtly broke the historical illusion included Ma's bras, the consistently clean-shaven men, women sporting professional hairdos and manicured nails, and seemingly non-opening windows in hot farmhouses. Even the portrayal of farm animals was simplified. The Ingalls corral was always empty, and despite scenes of milking a cow, no cow was ever seen grazing, highlighting the shortcuts taken in portraying authentic farm life. While the show did touch upon interactions with Native Americans, it generally presented a simplified narrative that avoided the deeper complexities and the often brutal realities of indigenous displacement during westward expansion.
The consistent downplaying of the brutal realities of pioneer life, coupled with the insertion of modern conveniences, suggests a deliberate choice by the creators to present a romanticized, palatable version of history. This approach prioritized comfort and family-friendly entertainment over strict historical accuracy. The show's immense success was partly due to its ability to offer a nostalgic escape, allowing viewers to connect with simplified virtues and heartwarming narratives without confronting the true, often grim challenges of the past. Despite the numerous historical and geographical inaccuracies, the show's core narrative of resilience, family values, and community resonated deeply with audiences. This highlights that for many viewers, emotional resonance and compelling storytelling often hold more weight than factual precision. The truth of a story, especially in popular culture, can be more about its emotional impact and moral lessons than its adherence to historical records, contributing significantly to its lasting cultural footprint and enduring appeal. And as the series drew to a close, Michael Landon made one final shocking decision that would forever cement his control over the show's legacy: the controversial destruction of Walnut Grove itself. The series finale of Little House on the Prairie delivered one of the most shocking and dramatic conclusions in television history: the systematic destruction of the beloved Walnut Grove sets. This wasn't merely a plot point. It was a powerful and symbolic statement that left an indelible mark on the show's legacy. In a dramatic and unprecedented move, the townsfolk of Walnut Grove in the series finale blew up nearly every building on the set. The only structures left standing were the cherished church and the Ingalls' little house. This shocking act served as a powerful and definitive conclusion to a series that had captivated audiences for a decade. The primary reason behind this drastic act was Michael Landon's unwavering desire to prevent the sets from being reused for any future shows or films that might not meet his exacting standards for Little House on the Prairie. It was an ultimate act of creative control, ensuring that his vision for Walnut Grove would not be diluted or compromised by subsequent productions. Melissa Gilbert, who played Laura, vividly described the experience of filming the final episode as gutting and the longest funeral I'd ever attended, underscoring the profound emotional weight of destroying a place that had been a home and a world for so many years. The destruction was not just a narrative device. It was a deeply felt farewell to a significant chapter in television history. Crucially, the Ingalls house was intentionally spared from the widespread destruction. It was seen as a profound symbol of hope for the Ingalls family and, by extension, for everyone else who watched the show. In a remarkable turn of events, actor Stan Ivar, who joined the cast in the final season as John Carter, personally disassembled it piece by piece and has had it in storage forever in his rural Los Angeles County home. However, despite Ivar's dedicated efforts and even support from figures like former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, attempts to donate this tangible piece of television history to cultural institutions like the Smithsonian or the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum in Walnut Grove have reportedly failed. The reason cited for this unresolved legacy is complex rights issues with NBC, highlighting the enduring legal complexities that can entangle even physical assets decades after production.
Landon's decision to destroy the sets transcends mere practicality. It signifies an unparalleled level of creative control and a profound desire to protect the show's legacy. This suggests that, for some creators, the integrity and memory of their work are paramount, even if it means destroying the physical manifestation of that work to prevent its perceived degradation or misuse by others. It was a powerful statement of artistic ownership, ensuring that Little House remained unequivocally his vision. Furthermore, the fact that the physical Ingalls house set, a tangible piece of television history, remains in storage due to rights issues decades after the show ended, highlights the complex and enduring nature of intellectual property laws in the entertainment industry. This situation implies that even physical assets created during production can be entangled in legal battles, preventing them from being publicly displayed or preserved, and underscoring how business and legal considerations can sometimes override cultural and historical preservation efforts, leaving a beloved artifact in limbo. From hidden Pepsi cans and visible crew members to off-screen dramas involving substance use and caste conflicts, the world of Little House on the Prairie was far more complex and human than its wholesome facade suggested. The show, a product of its time, navigated the challenges of period filmmaking, the realities of a 1970s production set, and the personal lives of its cast and crew, all while crafting an idealized vision of pioneer life. These revelations don't diminish the show's magic. Rather, they deepen our appreciation for the immense human effort, the creative compromises, and the surprising realities that shaped a cultural phenomenon. The contrast between the show's idyllic on-screen world and the grittier, more complicated truths behind the scenes offers a fascinating study in television production and historical interpretation. The imperfections, far from being flaws, have become endearing quirks, humanizing the production and fostering a deeper connection with audiences in the digital age.
the evolution of production ethics, the unique directing style of Michael Landon, and the enduring legal battles over physical sets all add rich layers to Little House on the Prairie's legacy, transforming it from a simple period drama into a compelling narrative about the interplay of art, commerce, and human nature. As we look back at the sun-drenched fields of Walnut Grove, one can't help but wonder, what other beloved shows are hiding their own shocking truths, waiting to be uncovered?